Where's it going? What the fuck is happening? I'm not a fraud!
Elon Musk received a ton of backlash after weighing in on the issue of immigration, stating that much more immigration is needed because the number of talented and motivated engineers in the U.S. is too low, despite having a population of over 330 million. The debate seems to have started with this tweet by AF Post announcing that Trump had named an Indian immigrant named Sriram Krishnan as senior policy advisor for AI, which angered a lot of people on the right who just voted against expanding immigration since Krishnan wants to remove the limits on H1B visas to flood the country with more immigrants. Musk responded to this tweet by Mario Nawfal, which stated that the U.S. semiconductor industry needs over 160,000 engineers, saying that we actually need double that number, going on to compare the U.S. to a sports team. There were numerous replies contradicting his claims of not enough workers, which included references to recent news headlines about mass layoffs from the tech sector, with jobs supposedly drying up, and others giving anecdotal accounts of Americans, specifically white people, being overlooked in the job market in favor of lower-paid immigrants, or even replaced, like in the case where Disney was sued for replacing existing staff with immigrants. In his testimony, this former Disney employee recalls having to train his foreign replacement and being told that if he didn't, he would be let go without a severance package.
I walked into a small conference room with about 24 highly respected fellow IT workers. The Disney executive made a harsh announcement to us all. All of you in this room will be losing your jobs in the next 90 days. Your jobs have been given over to a foreign workforce. In the meantime, you will be training your replacements until your jobs are 100% transferred over to them, and if you do not cooperate, you will not receive any severance pay. I was completely silent during this meeting, thinking how this was going to affect my coworkers. How was I going to break news to my family and pay all of our expenses? I would soon be living on unemployment. Later that same day, I clearly remember going to the local church pumpkin sale and having to tell the kids I couldn't buy any that year because my job was being turned over to a foreign worker. I started to think what kind of an American I was becoming. Was I going to become part of ruining our country by taking severance pay in exchange for training my foreign replacement? How many other American families would be affected by the same foreign worker that I trained? The first part of my 90-day period was focused on capturing all that we did with our jobs. We all felt extremely humiliated when the foreign worker sat next to us and watched everything that we did. The final period of the 90 days was the most disgraceful and demoralizing, as we had to watch the foreign workers completely take over our jobs. And we came to grips that the upcoming Disney jobs promise didn't exist. Then finally, on January 31st of 2015, we were ordered to turn in our company badges, laptops, and then ushered out the door. How can it be that everybody that hears these stories about Disney and the like, from the barbers to the bankers, are completely shocked? Yet our lawmakers continue to debate the topic and take no action. The reason that more affected IT workers don't come out into the public is twofold. And that is why most lawmakers mostly hear from the tech giants and are very rarely heard from the displaced American workers who will disclose themselves publicly.
To give a couple other notable examples, McDonald's replaced a bunch of their existing accounting staff with cheaper immigrants, and the CEO of Better.com fired 900 employees over a Zoom call before hiring 1,000 foreigners to replace them. In addition to articles about Americans being replaced by foreign workers and mass layoffs in the tech sector, other headlines were referenced about companies specifically aiming to hire less whites and more people of color. A professor of computer science at UC Berkeley says even as high-performing students with 4.0 GPAs aren't getting any offers. He says, tech degrees no longer guarantee a job. Previously, a Berkeley CS graduate, even if not a top student, would receive multiple appealing job offers in terms of work type, location, salary, and employer. However, outstanding students, like those with a 4.0 in major GPA, are now contacting me worried because they have zero offers. I suspect this trend is irreversible and likely part of the broader trend impacting almost every employment sector. I hate to say this, but a person starting their degree today may find themselves graduating 4 years from now into a world with very limited employment options. Add that to the growing number of people losing their employment, and it should be crystal clear that a serious problem is on the horizon. We should be doing something about it today. After Elon suggested that the H1B program was primarily for recruiting the top 0.1% of talent, Laura Loomer pointed out that Musk hired non-American citizens for entry-level positions at Tesla, citing a database that lists the salaries of H-1B visa holders. For pointing this out, she was punished with the removal of her blue checkmark, and her account was demonetized after Twitter removed the paid subscriber feature. A bunch of people then started digging into the database and found many low-level positions being filled by immigrants, such as dog trainers, pickleball directors, cooks, bakers, accountants, cashiers, Chippendale dancers, janitors, administrative assistants, interns, construction laborers, plumbers, miners, ranch hands, Amazon workers, social media specialists, nurses, Taco Bell senior managers, graphic designers, and even more. It was also found that Tesla laid off 2,688 employees following the approval of 2,639 H-1B visas in 2022 and 2023. A guy on Twitter named Robert Sterling analyzed 5 years of H-1B visa data and voiced his skepticism about the program's operation. He found that the program is highly popular, with employers receiving approval for over 800,000 applications annually, despite the 85,000 visa limit. Contrary to expectations, the average H-1B salary is under $120,000, with a significant portion of jobs paying less than $150,000. Most H-1B applications are for tech-related roles, with software developer roles being the most prominent. Large companies like Google, IBM, and Indian firms like Cognizant and Infosys are major employers of H-1B visa holders focusing on IT roles. Indian companies use the H-1B program to place tech workers in U.S. companies as contractors, with roles like computer systems analysts and programmers being common. Sterling concluded that the H-1B program does not serve as a means to bring in the world's top talent, but rather as a method to fill positions with lower-cost workers. If you want to read the whole thread for yourself, the link is in the description. Elon got ratioed by this comment from a guy who claims his son cannot get a job or even an interview despite having graduated with electrical and computer engineering degrees. His account disappeared shortly after, although it's unclear if he deleted the account himself or if it was deleted by Twitter, since many accounts known for being critical of immigration were suddenly suspended en masse, with other prominent verified accounts losing the blue checkmark they paid for. Around the time these accounts were getting suspended, he posted about his easily exploitable algorithmic censorship features that stifle the reach of accounts that are muted or blocked by verified accounts, which means all it takes to silence an account and suppress their reach is a coordinated mass blocking and muting spree. After citing the feature that deboosts accounts based on actions taken by verified accounts, and then suspending, unverifying, and demonetizing accounts who were critical of him and his stance on immigration expansion, Musk limited replies on his post to verified accounts only to limit the amount of pushback he gets. After being criticized for censoring people after promoting X as a free speech platform, he responded to his critics saying that free speech doesn't mean paid speech. Twitter staff thought this was a good time for X to promote their X payment system. Linda Yaccarino announced X Money right as people were getting demonetized for the free speech that Elon Musk was so adamant about protecting and preserving. As you can imagine, people were not too enthusiastic about it. Whitney Webb pointed out that it's basically WeChat with a MAGA sticker on it, emphasizing that they'll not only be able to punish you socially by limiting your reach, but also financially if you happen to disagree with Elon's politics. Despite a bunch of notoriously racist accounts being suspended, an employee of his faced no penalty after going on a racist tirade against white people, which he promptly defended, saying he's just a troll who went a little over the top. After replying in agreement to a comment calling Americans retarded, someone suggested more education, to which he replied, "If you need school, you've already lost." The argument that Americans are too stupid and therefore have to be replaced by Indians doesn't make any sense when you consider the fact that the average IQ in India is about 77, while the lowest average IQ at the state level in the US is about 95. He lashed out at his critics, calling them subtards, and also telling them to take a step back, fuck themselves in the face, and then called them racist for wanting to retain their racial and cultural identities, and for not wanting to be replaced by a mass influx of third world foreigners. He then declared war on them, saying they should be uprooted and removed from the Republican Party. After calling Americans subtards and telling his critics to fuck themselves in the face, he announced an algorithm tweak to promote more informational and entertaining content and deboost negativity to maximize unregretted user time. He used an alt account under the name Adrian Dittman to praise and defend himself from the massive amounts of backlash he was getting. He went on a Twitter space where he declared, "This is how it's going to be," regarding immigration expansion. He told MAGA supporters to deal with it, dismissing their concerns and calling them ungrateful crackheads, also responding to the criticism about the recent waves of censorship, saying, "You're not being censored, your takes just suck."
And ironically enough, some elements of the extreme legacy MAGA movement will have to deal with it as well. Because that's how it is. And don't hate the fucking big tech bros. Because out of all of them, Elon is the only one that's giving all of these crackheads a fucking voice. I want you to try and pull that shit on fucking Facebook and see how long you last. You ungrateful motherfuckers, seriously. You keep crying censorship this, censorship that. You're not censored. Your takes just suck. Get over it and get over yourselves. Honestly. I'm not an enemy of anyone, but if you hate me for saying this, so fucking be it. I don't care. I'm part of what's new. You get to make that choice yourself. Do better. Anyways, thank you all for coming today.
He also posted on 4chan under the same alias. In one of his posts, he included a screenshot from Twitter that accidentally revealed he has admin privileges on the platform, stirring up more speculation about his identity. He also went out of his way to reassure everyone that he's definitely not an incel. In January of 2024, he used the account to reply to a post he made with his main account to compliment himself for being an amazing father. Adrian Dittman, aka Elon Musk, played Fortnite with a streamer named Connor Eats Pants. During the stream, he slipped up and started complaining about the backlash he was receiving on X regarding the H1B issue.
What MAGA is between you, it doesn't matter.
It does. I think with the kind of political stuff that has happened on the platform, especially, stuff that I had to deal with personally, I think it matters very much.
Wait, what did you deal with personally?
What has happened over the last couple days?
I don't
and
know.
even leading up to that.
I'm confused. Elaborate.
Well, yeah, very simple. Because so for instance, you had this discussion around H1B visas, right? And there was a lot of so fundamentally, I think
That was Elon that was talking about all that, right?
No, it was various other people as well. They were just kind of trolling him that he responded in various ways, but
Right.
what the fuck is this? Who's this guy?
Connor took the opportunity to troll Adrian Dittman, claiming that Grok, Twitter's AI, is worse than the woke mind virus, and he seemed to take it pretty personally.
I think Grok might be fucking with your brain.
How would Grok be fucking with my brain?
I think that, like, Grok might be worse than the woke mind virus. Like, I think the real mind virus might be Grok and, like, relying on AI tools to, like, determine your positions on things.
What? What the hell is this do?
Why did you say it like that?
Wait, what the fuck is this?
Why did you say it like that? Why did you say... Sorry, I didn't mean to
Say like
spin... Sorry, I didn't mean to talk about Grok like that.
No, hang on a second.
Connor asked the allegedly 20-something-year-old Dittman what he was doing during 9/11, to which he replied, "I was doing my thing," raising eyebrows considering the age discrepancy.
All right.
What, you remember 9/11? What were you doing then?
What everyone else was doing. Doing my thing.
Doing your thing.
And then shit happened. Shit got real.
Doing your thing. Well, if you're my age and it was 9/11, you were toddling around on the living room floor, which would have been your answer.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was literally doing my thing.
That's what you were doing, was you were toddling on the floor?
Probably.
During a live stream with Destiny, he slipped up and started talking about the kind of rocket fuel he was using.
Physics. I can't really talk to you about the nature of inflammatory rhetoric if we're not able to dive into the political issues that are underlying all of the rhetoric itself. So it's hard.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about rocket fuel in the sense, right? Your kind of rocket fuel is solid here, but it also is the wrong type of rocket fuel for the rocket that you want to run. It's actually an inferior version of that same rocket fuel that I'm using right now, which is actually also liquid.
Yeah, but I disagree that it's inferior. I think it's cheaper.
An outlet called The Spectator started running cover for Elon, saying they had unmasked the real Adrian Dittman as an entrepreneur and Elon Musk superfan who resides in Fiji, but myself and many others don't buy it. He's got the same mannerisms, the same South African accent, and the same autistic cadence, and I don't think it's a coincidence. Even his own son believes it's Elon using an alias. He commented on the similarities in their speech and tried to dispel the rumors that he is the one running the account.
Whether or not Adrian is Elon, I'm like, what?
Prove it.
Well, prove it. Time-wise,
Wait,
it makes
here.
no sense
I've got
whatsoever. There's a bunch of things where it doesn't line up. I'll give you a few examples. One is I tend to not stutter as much. I don't have the same type of speech impediments, although they be very similar. I tend to use more profanity and have some inaccuracies with assessments of the future.
Elon
Actually,
uses a lot of
So
profanity.
where
Yeah,
were you
actually,
for the
that fucked
latest?
me, man. I just
Just
fucked
don't do
myself.
it now.
I just
No,
realized
come
I fucked
on.
myself after I said
We
that,
just got
man.
no, my God, stop.
In a Twitter space with Laura Loomer, Adrian Dittman complained about people advocating for the deportation of Elon Musk, to which Loomer replied, "I don't think he should be deported."
The narrative shift that you've caused has gotten people to absolutely lose their minds. There's no other way that I can describe this other than somebody losing their mind, because they literally advocated for the deportation of people such as Elon and Peter Thiel, who've contributed an invaluable benefit to the fucking United States of America.
Well, I don't think that you should be deported. So that's
I
going to come out of my
know,
mouth.
but what you did had these consequences.
If he was truly a resident of Fiji, he should have caught that one. Some people are saying that the MAGA movement pretty much got rug pulled because they voted for mass deportations, not increasing immigration. I wouldn't exactly call it a rug pull, since Trump was pretty open about bringing a lot of people in legally while he was campaigning.
And we're going to let a lot of people come in because we need more people. We're going to let a lot of people come in. Mike, we're going to let a lot of people come in, and they just have to come in legally, right?
Which he later reiterated.
Why'd you change your mind on H1B visas, sir?
I didn't change my mind. I've always felt we have to have the most competent people in our country. We need competent people. We need smart people coming into our country. And we need a lot of people coming in. We're going to have jobs like we've never had before.
Some prominent Democrats sided with Trump and Elon, like Gavin Newsom, who praised Trump for backing Elon's position, while others, like Bernie Sanders, sided with the critics of the program, saying its function is to replace good-paying American jobs with low-wage indentured servants from abroad. Alex Jones backed Elon's position on immigration expansion, and after doing so, he was heavily criticized for supporting the Great Replacement. He gave a response to the criticism, which some thought was unhinged even for him, with some people saying it reeked of overacting.
What the hell? And he's exposing Jeffrey Epstein and the CIA. Hell, last week he put out tweets about the CIA at war with America. God almighty. Jones sold out retweeting that. God, I apologize to all of you. I'm sorry. I sold out. I tried to stop the pedophile rings, the giant Muslim kidnapping rings. I'm sorry. I kissed Elon Musk's ass. We're so close to getting the globalists. I want their throat. I want victory. And now you can see it. And you guys think you're going to harass Elon Musk and push him off of supporting Trump and divide Trump and Elon? You're not. We have already beaten your ass. Oh, let's continue.
Tim Pool, Vivek Ramaswamy, Charlie Kirk, and others attempted to gaslight the people expressing their concerns about Elon's desire to expand immigration, suggesting that the pushback and the narrative around censorship was astroturfed and part of a leftist psyop to divide the right. Others tried to gaslight them by calling them Hindu-phobic and suggesting that not wanting to be replaced by immigrants or having to compete with the entire world for a job in their own country is proof that they actually want more DEI. Vivek Ramaswamy says the problem is mediocre American culture and that people like jocks and prom queens more than nerds because they value things like athleticism, charisma, and leisure activities like having sleepovers, socializing, and watching Boy Meets World or Saturday morning cartoons instead of doing science competitions and math tutoring. So that's why we have to import infinity bobblehead Indians to replace us and do our tech jobs, as well as our gas station jobs, dog training jobs, pickleball jobs, and massage therapist jobs. Basically, if we don't want to be replaced, we have to stop having fun. For a guy who shits on Americans for watching TV, he seems like he's pretty familiar with sitcom characters. His comments backfired and are likely part of the reason why he's no longer involved with the Department of Government Efficiency and is now running for public office in Ohio instead. His reputation is more damaged than ever after people started looking into his financial history and how he made his money. In 2014, he acquired an Alzheimer's drug called Axovant for about $5 million, which in 2010 had already failed phase 2 trials. His mother, Geetha, conducted a new phase 2 trial in 2015, the year after the acquisition, which was conveniently successful. He cashed out after a $350 million initial public offering in 2015 before the stock dropped 75% in 2017 after phase 3 trials failed, followed by additional trial failures and a 99% loss in value, after which the company was rebranded. Here he is on CNBC promoting this little scam with Coke Rat Kramer.
Vivek Ramaswamy is the CEO of Axovant Sciences. Learn more about his newly public company. Mr. Ramaswamy, welcome to Mad Money. Good to see you, sir.
Very good to see you.
Okay, Vivek. I didn't meet you before at school. I know you're alma mater. You're summa cum laude graduate. Congratulations.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Okay. Tell me why Glaxo kind of wrote this drug off, and yet you have such great hopes for it.
So I obviously can't speak for other companies other than Axovant, but what I can tell you is that RVT-101 is a unique drug that we actually think could help millions of patients with Alzheimer's disease. Our focus is actually on the treatment of Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and other forms of dementia. We've actually put together what I view as a top-notch team in the industry, involving the developer of the most widely used drug to treat Alzheimer's disease, who actually led our due diligence on this asset, and actually will lead our development program going forward. And actually on our board of directors is the former head of neurosciences from GSK that actually led the development of this drug, who sits on our board right now, and all of those individuals are every bit as excited as we are.
So what do you think? Is the H1B abuse just another aspect of the Great Replacement? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.